All right, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Haven't posted in a while, but good morning. We got it's 9:30 in the morning. Woke up a little bit, I guess a little bit later, but honestly, on my off days, I'm kind of enjoying waking up at like 8 o'clock, 8:30. But could go back to some days waking up at 7 and 6 and whatnot, depending on what I want to get done for the day. But sleep is really important, so you want to make sure that you're getting enough sleep. As long as you're getting enough sleep, then that's honestly key. So what I'm doing, I guess the morning's kind of just started. I had a little bit of water this morning when I first got up, which is kind of like my go-to thing. And then I had a bit of time to read. So I always devote a little bit of time in the morning to read and to do a little bit of meditations. Sounds kind of crazy, but before I started doing it, I thought it was crazy too, but now I do it basically every day. So that's what I kind of start my day off with. So what I'm going to do is I got this big bottle from Amazon. So you can get whatever brand you want. I'm not advertising this brand, but this is basically like a half gallon or just over a half gallon. And I just fill this up in the morning and then I just start drinking it throughout the day. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to get breakfast going. So for the most part, pretty much been eating something similar for breakfast every day. And it's just been like a bowl of oatmeal with some protein powder and a little bit of fruit. And I'm actually going to show you guys something that I did recently. All right. So thanks for bearing with me through that as I filled up that water bottle. But yeah, so we've got this going, you guys. So this, I'm gonna just drink a bunch of this throughout the day, and I'm probably gonna drink more than this in the day, obviously. And I also have my shaker cups that I drink out of because I'm not gonna bring this to the gym with me. So I'll also have all those shaker cups that I drink throughout the day plus this, so it's gonna equate close to a gallon pretty much. And the whole point I'm kind of showing you guys this is it's really just kind of important to drink a ton of water in the morning because you wake up pretty dehydrated. So I got my trusty brown bowl. Got this, so I'll show you guys how I make my oatmeal. So typically the oatmeal comes in like bags, and my mom has decided that this is the old cashew container is the new oatmeal container. So, and then I got an old protein scooper that I'm using to scoop it out. Every scoop is pretty much 35 grams, and it kind of works out because I usually do like 60 or 70 grams. So I'm gonna do, yeah, like 70 today, 72. That's just the coffee going off there. So my dad wakes up before me and he just makes a bunch of coffee, so I'm gonna have some coffee too. I typically use cashew or almond milk, and I also use this for my protein shakes. It's just less calories. This is actually kind of a hack. It's 25 calories per cup, so I just do about a cup of this in the oatmeal. Sometimes I do half a cup and I add a little bit of water. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna add just under a cup. I'm gonna add a little bit of water. And then when it finishes, I'll just cool it off with the rest of the milk to make a cup. And I'm gonna add a little bit of cinnamon to this. Okay, that cinnamon's actually out, but we do have another one. And I'm just gonna add a little bit more of this. So I always add cinnamon, I would say, into my oatmeal. It just gives it that nice spice taste. And as far as like other spices, guys, you can get pretty creative with it. For a long time, I've been adding cocoa powder, just like raw cocoa powder. Doesn't really make it super sweet, but it just gives it a very like rich kind of, chocolatey, cocoa-y taste. And then I don't really add any sweetener to it anymore because I've actually severely cut back on my sweetener usage. And I've just actually been drizzling a little bit of honey. But we can kind of talk about that with my whole quest to reduce my sugar intake, because I really do have a sweet tooth, guys, and I've been using a few techniques really just to cut that down. And I find that by, it's kind of hard to go cold turkey on something. So throughout the week, if I'm having this bowl of oatmeal and I have a little bit of honey, at least the honey is like a natural sugar, and then it's much better for me. And then on the weekends I'll have my treat, and then it's actually balanced out pretty well. Coming from somebody who could basically always need to fit in frozen yogurt into their last kind of treat for the night, coming from somebody like that to now only being able to treat myself with desserts on weekends is honestly quite a big improvement. Well, the cinnamon's actually a different color than the other one. This one's the organic one. Organic Saigon cinnamon. Alright. And I'm pretty lazy. I just microwave my oatmeal. I put it on for 3 minutes, and I've mastered that the amount that I'm adding plus the amount of milk plus the amount of time doesn't make my oatmeal overflow. So that's just something I suggest for you guys. Pick a bowl that's a little bit bigger so you can just hit the timer on and just not worry about it. Otherwise, you're watching the microwave hoping that your oatmeal doesn't overflow, which is super annoying when it does. All right, so the oatmeal is cooking there. Hopefully this isn't too loud for you guys to hear me. But this is a little cheat that I do, a little hack. Again, I'm using cashew milk here, but you could use almond milk. The idea is really a lower calorie milk, but obviously if you're, so I'm kind of trying to suck down my weight a little bit. I don't know why I refer to it like that, but I'm trying to, I guess, lose a little bit of weight, but I'm trying to very much so be somebody that's lean, guys. So I'm trying to stay lean, and every once in a while my body weight kind of climbs up a little bit, but I always stay pretty lean, I would say. And then, so once I lose this a little bit of weight, I actually want to stay at that body weight for a little while. So it's really about me finding like healthy lifestyle choices in order to stay lean. So if you're somebody that's bulking up or whatever, you could use like whole milk or whatever you want, really, skim milk. So add about just about half a cup, and then I go and add my protein powder. Now this amount really doesn't matter, and honestly different days I change it up. I'll probably just add like 30 grams today. 30 grams of the protein powder, not 30 grams of protein. There you go, that's it right there. So I make the protein shake first. And you're asking yourself, why, Kenny? Why do you make the protein shake first? Well, this is gonna go into my coffee. And if you were to pour your coffee and then put the protein powder in, it just clumps and it's the biggest mess and it's disgusting. And it ruins your hope of somehow creating some sort of a protein coffee. And that's what I did the first couple times, and I was sad that it wasn't working out. And I gave up on it for a little while instead of trying again. But I tried again. It just kind of hit me one day, why don't I just make the protein shake first? And I did it, and guess what? It works. So I got the protein shake. I got coffee here. So I just do like a Yeti. Just gonna pour that in here. Oatmeal's about to finish. That's 3 minutes. I probably added actually a little bit too much water. That's all right. I prefer my oatmeal a little bit more liquidy anyways. This is more liquidy than I like it, but that's okay. I'm not gonna worry about this too much. So I'm not gonna add any more milk because that's enough liquid. this is a huge hack right here, guys. So let me just show you that. So let me just finish making the coffee. So throw that in there, and it just mixes perfectly because it's basically already mixed. It's already a protein shake. Let's give it a little stir. And as long as you have a good tasting protein powder, this is obviously going to taste delicious. Yeah, that's proper. I have a chocolate caramel fudge protein. So literally my morning coffee tastes like pretty much like a latte or like a cappuccino. It's so good. And again, the amount of protein really depends that I'm adding to this oatmeal. It really just kind of depends on like how much oatmeal I'm eating for the day, how much I'm feeling to have more of a concentrated taste, but it's usually about a scoop. So you can kind of do with that what you want. It depends how strong of a flavor you want for the oatmeal. It depends how weak of a flavor or whatever. You can just kind of play around with it. But if you start off, guys, with about pretty much like, I don't know in terms of like cups of oatmeal, but if you do like, I don't know, like 70, 80 grams of oatmeal, dry weight, then you probably want about a scoop of protein powder. But you guys, you can play around with that, have some fun, and get creative, like how I got creative with the protein powder in my coffee. You can kind of find a way to create your own like perfect amounts and proportions and whatever. And you know, if you get it wrong, you can always readjust and do that. But you know, you can't really go wrong. It's just gonna be, like I said, if you have a good tasting protein powder, you're pretty much just gonna have a stronger flavor of it. And obviously you would know not to do like anything too crazy and go too psycho with it. You can kind of, for the most part, kind of common sense your way through it. So anyways, what I did, guys, is I like to have some fruit in my oatmeal. Usually what I do is actually banana. So I'll slice up a bunch of banana, drizzle some honey over it, but actually we had a bunch of apples that needed to get used up. So I sliced up these apples into little chunks, and then what I did was I put a little drizzle of honey over it, and then I added a bunch of cinnamon and nutmeg and like a couple of sweetener packets over it. So it makes it pretty much like an apple pie filling, right? And then when I track it, let's say like here, I got 200 grams of it. You can just add as much of it as you want. No, I'm not worried that I added a little bit of honey to it. It was a pretty like negligent amount that I added, so I'm not worried about tracking that. And so I got that in there, and I'm still gonna drizzle a little bit of honey over it because, like I said, I have a sweet tooth, and I find that I don't really crave a lot of sweets throughout the week, and I've been somebody that always needed to fit in my macros a little bit of a dessert. But by having something like this, which is pretty much like a breakfast dessert oatmeal, I'm able to basically curb my sugar cravings and really only treat myself to sugar on the weekends. And you know, in the name of health, I think that's much better. So, and honey is a much better, I believe personally that it's not just about macros. Honey is going to digest in your system a little bit different than regular sugar would. So that's it, guys. I basically got the protein oats. It's a ton of carb, lots of protein, because you got the protein in the coffee plus this this oatmeal, and then yeah, and then you got your fruits in there, and so this is a pretty solid breakfast. I've been eating this honestly for the past like month now. I've just been consistently whacking this down. Like I said, sometimes I add the banana in there. That's pretty delicious too. And yeah, guys, this tastes super good. I know some of you guys are into like cream of rice and things like that, cream of wheat, whatever. So you can substitute that for the oatmeal if you find that oatmeal doesn't digest properly or whatever. And so yeah, this is breakfast. I'm gonna go take this upstairs, and then we'll have a chat, and then yeah. So let me show you. Oh, I almost fell there. So let me just show you guys. That's it right there, just so you can see it up close. All right, now I got the simple setup here, and I'll just smash this down. So you guys may be thinking like this is a lot of protein powder that I'm using, but usually, guys, if I'm not gonna have the oatmeal, then maybe I'll make some sort of like a protein shake or like a protein smoothie or something like that. I was just saying grace there. So yeah, like sometimes what I do is I'll be like, instead of adding a half a cup of cashew milk into that shaker cup, what I would have done was I would have added more, and then I would have added some water, and then I would just pour some of the protein shake into the coffee, save the rest of it in the shaker cup, and then later on in the day make some sort of a like protein, like drink that as the protein shake with some, and then have obviously like, you know, some fruit or something like that post workout. Or what I would do is I would blend some frozen banana actually, and then make like a protein smoothie. And again, that's usually post workout that I do that. Not for any specific reason, but that's just if I want to make more of like a proteiny kind of thing later, I have that option. And then obviously, like maybe those days I don't eat the oatmeal, or I do eat the oatmeal and I eat a smaller portion. And really that's so I can use a bit less protein powder, because I don't want to get most of my protein in the day from protein powders. I do want some natural sources too, like chicken and beef and eggs. But, you know, I think the name of the game really is consistency. And like if you're consistent with what you do, that's the most important thing. So how much protein do you need per day? Honestly, I don't think it's as much as people think you need. Really, I think if you just wanted to play it safe, guys, you could do a gram per pound of body weight. That's granted that your body fat is within like kind of like a healthy range. If you're really overweight, I would say you can go a little bit less. Honestly, what I typically do is I'm about 150 pounds, 155, something like that. And I typically eat anywhere from like 135 grams of protein. That's like the lowest that I would go, up to about like basically like 160. So pretty much a gram per pound of body weight, plus or minus a little bit, you know what I mean? But honestly, if days I don't have a lot of meat prepped and I don't have like proper meals to get those things in, and I don't feel like eating eggs, I don't feel like eating chicken, and let's say I end up doing a big protein oats and like a big protein smoothie or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, I got like most of my protein that day from protein powder, like an artificial source. I mean, you're still getting your protein in. So I do believe, guys, honestly, that there is something to be said from the quality of your source and where you get your nutrients. I don't think it's just macros. I do think different types of sugars are digested differently in your body. Like if you look at like if you have like a fruit juice and you look at the way that your body responds to drinking a fruit juice, even if it's like a natural fruit juice with no sugar added, versus actually eating, say, like an apple, like apple juice versus an apple, your body's going to respond much differently to it. And that's not really because the sugar changed, but that's because you're getting the fiber in the whole apple. So obviously, like, you got to consider things like that. And obviously there's different amino acids in beef and chicken, I'm pretty sure. Like, I didn't research this stuff before I'm doing it, but like there's different compositions of things, so they're going to respond a little bit differently in your body. With that said, I might say that like this responds better in my body, and you might say, no, this responds better in my body. And you could be right. It could definitely be like that for sure. But the whole point of what I was saying there was it's all about consistency. if you're going to get most of your protein source from just one protein source of the day, but you're going to hit your protein for the day, that's the most important thing. If you can be more diverse with your protein sources and get them from better sources, more whole foods, that's obviously way better. But I'm kind of speaking to like people that are on a budget here, and I know that some people watching my channel will probably be like younger kind of kids, like high school, university kids, and college kids. You don't have a ton of money, I get it. I was there too. Just get your protein powder, have at least one meal that's like a whole food. Like it's pretty easy to get eggs in a day, and then try to get like, I don't know, like a chicken, like meal prep chicken or like ground beef or something like that. And even if you got to get like half your protein from protein powder, I mean, you're getting your protein in. Like you got to kind of weigh out like your best options here, and you always want to pick your best option. You want to prioritize because you want those gains, right? And we got to get those gains, so we got to be consistent. And that's really what it is, guys. Consistency is the name of the game. Whether it's building protein, building muscle, losing weight. Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to lose weight, you're not trying to do anything drastic. You're trying to make small changes and be consistent with them to lose weight. Because when you lose that weight, you want to keep it off too. So that's something really important to consider. And so today I'm going to be doing cardio, guys. I know cardio, what is that? Is that Spanish? So what I've actually recently done, and I think maybe in like another video I'll kind of go through it, but I've made a lot of changes to my workout split, because I find that like if I go too many days in the gym, like I've been working out for kind of a while now, and I love working out. So for me, the issue is really not getting to the gym, but it's staying out of the gym. So a lot of the days, honestly, I have a pretty simple life, so I feel like kind of bored, honestly, if I don't go to the gym at this phase of my life. So what I've done is I've realized that if I lift weights too many days in a row, I always end up throwing out like my upper back, kind of like the scapula area, into my neck. And I've kind of thought about this, and I'm like, it kind of makes sense, because like you're always retracting your scapula for everything, for back day, chest day, shoulder exercises, leg day, even you're retracting your scapula to do, you know, keeping your back straight and whatever, and basically everything you're contracting your scapula. So I just think those muscles back there just get kind of tired, and they just get kind of worn out. And then you end up getting hurt. So what I've decided to do is lift weights only 4 days per week. But days that I'm also working, I work at the hospital, so it's kind of nice. I get 12-hour shifts, and like I do day and night shifts and whatever. So on the night shift, sometimes I have that extra half a day, basically, when I roll into a night shift. For those of you who work healthcare, you kind of know. Sometimes you can get a workout in that day. So I do have like a lot of days, and then when I'm off, like I usually have stretches of days off. So I have a lot of days off where I can hit the gym. So what I've decided to do is I've decided to do 2 days weights, off one, at least one. And again, it depends how my work schedule kind of falls, but a minimum of like 1 day off. And then the day that I'm off from the weights, and that's today, but I'm going to do cardio. So I'm actually going to go to the gym and do some, like, we'll see what I do, but I'll probably like walk on the treadmill for a little bit. Maybe I'll run, hit the bike, stuff like that. And then I'll do a little bit of cardio and abs. And I'm not going to do cardio and abs every single time. It would just be like probably like every other kind of cardio day. And again, it depends how many days are separated in between. My kind of rule of thumb is don't train something if it's sore. And I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And then after I do the cardio days, I'll do two on basically. So I do chest and biceps. I don't want to get too in detail with it in this video, but it's basically chest and biceps for day one. Day two is legs and calves. And then I do off at least one. And then if I wasn't working that day and it was just like an off like today, I'll do cardio and abs and lower back if those aren't sore. So it isn't sore this time, so I'll do it today. And then I go back and I do my next weight training day would be if I feel refreshed, because now I'm more about recovery. I'm really keeping that in the back of my mind. And again, like, it's hard to pull yourself back, but in the long term, you make more gains. And by restraining yourself, you're actually doing better for yourself. And it's kind of a weird concept to like accept, especially like I said, like I'm somebody that like loves to go to the gym, but if you can avoid injuries, avoid little tweaks here and there, and be more well rested, you end up coming back and having better workouts, and then you make better gains, you get better results, you look better, you feel better. And also this time that I get to do all this extra cardio, guys, is going to be really beneficial for my health, because it ain't just about lifting weights. It's also about your health. It's about your heart health. And guys, cardio, you burn much more calories when you do cardio. So you're actually going to lose more weight, and you're actually going to be able to stay leaner by having cardio days. And so anyways, I've been kind of doing this somewhat for like a little while, not so much the 4 day a week lifting, but I've been having cardio days kind of for a while now. So like I said, I go back after those 2 days. I have, you know, one off, and then I do back, rear delt and traps, a little bit of traps, and then I do shoulders and triceps. So, and then I rest again for usually about another, I would say another probably two days. I haven't like perfectly figured it out yet, because it kind of depends how my work schedule falls in between that. But it's, like I said, it's usually 2 days on with weights, 1 to 2 days off, 2 days on with weights, about 2 days off. And in those days, the off days, I do my cardio. And then I'm also going to have a day where I don't do too much cardio, where it's, maybe I can go for a walk, or maybe I can go to the gym and just do like a little bit of walking on the treadmill, but nothing like too intense, because you do actually want to have a rest day too. But we'll kind of see how it goes. I know how some people talk about like active recovery days, so you're still maybe going to the gym and doing something like light, like maybe you don't run or hit the spin bike too hard, but maybe you just walk on the treadmill. That could be something that I pursue. But we'll kind of see. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just gonna do some cardio today, and yeah, like I highly recommend it. It's good for you, good for your heart health, makes your recovery better. And then when you go back to lift weights, your recovery in between sets is better, so you can recover faster and keep the same amount of weight that you would be doing, instead of having to drop the weight because you can't recover in between the sets. You can actually recover, and therefore you can push more weight longer. So you're actually gonna make better gains this way. So cardio, and you'll be able to push yourself closer to failure, because this is also one thing that I notice is I tend to get really shot cardiovascularly when I'm doing leg days. And by improving your cardiovascular system, you can actually push yourself to failure on leg days, because sometimes you run out of breath before you even get to failure on squats. So this way, you know, and I'm talking about more failure like on hack squats kind of thing, because I wouldn't really go to failure on free weight barbell squats. So you can actually get closer to failure on leg days, you can get closer to failure on back days, and you can just recover better in between workouts. So why wouldn't you do cardio? But yeah, so just cutting it back down on the weights and seeing how my body responds, giving it more time to recover. I think honestly I'm going to make more gains, which it's kind of hard to accept doing a little bit less. And also my volume per workout, guys, has gone down quite a bit, but that's something that we can keep talking about as I make these videos, and just kind of keep you guys in the loop. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the little breakfast chat, the little breakfast idea. Hopefully it gives you some tips, especially with the coffee and the protein powder. For those of you who are always wondering, what should I add to my coffee to make it taste good if you don't like drinking it black? Well, now you can try doing that if you haven't ever heard of doing that. And I hope that works out for you guys. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the day, edit this video, do some reading, see how the day see what it kind of takes me to. And that's pretty much it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.